What is up, you guys? Thank you for checking out the Cryptographics YouTube channel. And today we're going to be asking the question, are there any true cryptocurrencies out there? I know that's a big question. We have a lot to tackle. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. So are there any true cryptocurrencies? So we have to ask questions. We have to ask the questions. What was cryptocurrency intended to be? And are there any true crypto actually out there? So let's ask, why was cryptocurrency created? In the first line of the Bitcoin white paper abstract, this is what it says: a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash, which would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. From Vast.bank, we have, it is a digital currency that allows you the freedom to make transactions at any time and with anyone, anywhere around the world with limited restrictions. From CryptoSecGo.com, we have, cryptocurrency was created to serve as a medium of exchange that is independent of any central authority or government. So to me, it seems that crypto was intended to be free of banks, institutions, and middlemen of any kind, right? No institution whatsoever, just you and your money. It's a complete and secure blockchain peer-to-peer system, which is free from, like I just said, central authority, and also free from being reversed or frozen, tampered with, or anything like that. So freedom from middlemen. What does it really mean? Well, let's define middlemen and make sure we're on the same page here. It's an intermediary, a go-between, and that's from wordnik.com. So by that definition, anyone or anything that is between you and, in this case, your coins, is a middleman. So this is easy to understand for transactions and how they would work for cryptocurrency, but let's remember the end of the first line in the BTC white paper, so the Bitcoin white paper, like the last part of the line, without going through a financial institution. Now, I know we're kind of cherry picking that a little bit, but I think those words are important. And here's why. So let's go a little more deep in that concept and see how deep we should actually take it. So what is a financial institution? I think it's fair to say that it is a third party that holds, sends, receives, or does anything with your money on your behalf. It's like whatever a bank could do, essentially, or more. But the gist of it, I think we can agree that that contains most of the definition of it. And financial institutions often use your money to increase their reserve, but if you want your money out at any time, it may be difficult to retrieve. They dictate how often or how much you can send, receive, withdraw, and sometimes deposit without a delay. Banks use your money to increase their reserves in order to obtain more capital, aka they earn money on your money just being in the bank. So DeFi middlemen. What are the DeFi, decentralized finance, obviously, in the cryptosphere? What is a DeFi middleman? Much of the DeFi, decentralized finance ecosystem, requires users to send their tokens to said protocol in order to be used freely, oftentimes to earn high interest rates and generate income for users. See, this is the issue for me. There's many unfinished or run by people, or there's many unfinished projects or protocols that are run by people with admin keys, or there's roadmaps. It's not code you're working with necessarily. There's people that have say and can manipulate outcomes of gains or anything in that matter. There are just variables that are not completely controlled by code. So these people can sometimes have the ability to potentially lock or shut down the protocol, lock coins or shut down the protocol without telling you. Hence the saying, if you've heard it, not your keys, not your coins. And we've seen this with the war and whatnot that's been going on over in Russia, or in Ukraine with Russia. Because of that, we've seen Coinbase accounts get frozen. Even in Canada, we've seen it. Wallets that were on these centralized exchanges, their coins got frozen and they couldn't send the coins anywhere. So not your keys, if it's not in your personal wallet off of a major exchange, not necessarily your coins. So worse yet, unlike real-world financial institutions, many DeFi protocols that allow you to give them your coins to make you interest are not as secure and vetted as traditional banks. So most times these decentralized finance projects can make you a lot higher yield, obviously, because I mean a bank gives you like 1% or 3%, I think, tops right now. If you do like a certificate of deposit, I don't even think it's that high. I have to look it up, but it's not very high, is the point. But the problem is they're not very secure, and you hear more often than not of hacks than success stories. Sure, you hear about success stories in the short term, but then you later hear of a hack, and many people get wrecked in that process. So we know now there's less tried and true security with more chance for you to lose your funds in some sort of digital incident. And this is just commonplace across crypto. So I think we can all agree. If not, at the end of the video, yeah, definitely drop me a comment, let me know. But let's keep going. So the whole idea, it seems, of cryptocurrency is to evade the banks, right? So to evade the bank, but still utilize the ability of the bank, is to become your own bank, right? So what comes to mind for me, especially given the last line of the BTC abstract or the Bitcoin white paper abstract, is complete freedom from banks, aka to become your own bank. So let's reiterate this again. So banks generate interest and build wealth for itself. Banks can send and receive money, and banks can utilize different currencies and exchange them. So should you not only be able to send and receive money, but also increase your wealth separate from any financial institution? I think that's a good question to ask. Is Bitcoin a be your own bank type of coin? Short and sweet. Well, it's not. I mean, in order to either earn more BTC with your BTC, again, Bitcoin, you have to lend it to another protocol and hope that you get your coins back. There's no internal system within the Bitcoin protocol. There's no code that you can interact with on the Bitcoin network that's made for Bitcoin that allows users to create more Bitcoin or interest aside from buying or mining. But if you already own Bitcoin, you can't take that Bitcoin and put it somewhere on that to interact with its own protocol to make more, right? Same goes for any coin. You have Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, obviously the blockchain coins, and any token, smart contract based product built on top of either Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, or any smart contract enabled blockchain, even Binance, except for one, I believe. And again, this is through the research that I've done. What I've found is there's only one that exceeds or surpasses this and actually achieves what no other cryptocurrency could do. And I'd like to introduce you to Hex. Hex. What is Hex? Hex is a token that was built on the Ethereum blockchain. It was launched late 2019 and originally dubbed Bitcoin Hex at a conference where its founder, Richard Hart, presented the concept for one of the first times. Hex was designed to be Bitcoin 2.0. Hex is the first cryptocurrency. Excuse me. Hex is the first cryptocurrency that allows you to generate your own wealth without interacting with anything that can be accessed by another human being or bot. Its code is completely locked and finished. No one can stop it, alter it, or turn it off. It allows you to become your own bank in the truest sense. The Hex smart contract is the only thing you interact with. You have the coin of Hex and you interact with the Hex smart contract. You can think of it almost like, because Hex is not a network per se, but it acts like it is, you are interacting with the network, if you want to think of it like that. Like the code of Hex and the protocol itself allows you to interact with it and become your own bank. So how does it work? You can kind of think of it like a certificate of a deposit or certificate of deposit. You lock up your coins with the Hex contract itself in order to earn interest over a period of days of your choosing. And you can choose from between 1 days or 500 or 5,555 days, which is like 15.2 years. So similar to a certificate of deposit, if you end your contract early, penalties will be applied. Now, you do not have to lock up or stake, because this is what this is called. If you lock your coins up with Hex, it's called staking. You stake your coins. So you do not have to lock up or stake your tokens. You can literally just buy and hold them or send them around, whatever you want to do, or use them to purchase, whatever you want to use them for. You do not have to lock them up. So let's ask the question, how does it generate interest like a certificate of deposit? Well, let's define interest, because it's not a certificate of deposit, because we're not actually earning interest on any sort of loan. It's not a loan. We're generating it from interacting with the code. The supply, the overall supply of hex will automatically inflate no matter what, as long as one person is staking, year after year. So hex over the course of 1 year creates a supply inflation of up to 3.69% of its total supply that is distributed to stakers proportionally based on the number of hex in the stake, the length of the stake, and the percentage of this total supply that is staked. So there's 3 things, let's go over that one more time, that give stakers a percentage of the 3.69% inflation that happens automatically. That is the number. So how many hex you have in a stake or you lock up, how long between 1 and 5,555 days stake, and the percentage of total supply that is staked. So this is shown in annual percentage yield, or APY percentage. And so let's look at it like this. If there are 10% of the total hex staked, the average yield, or APY, you would get on an average length stake currently is the average length stake is currently 6.2 years, is 36.9%. Makes sense, right? If you stake longer, you would get slightly higher, and the lowest, I believe, is it's the lowest you can get on a full year, obviously, is 10.89, because it's a full APY, right? To get a full APY, you have to stake for a single year. So the lowest I've seen at the moment is 10.89%. And the key aspect to note here is that yield is paid in hex, not in dollar value. So as you stake over the period of a year, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 15, every day, based on how much hex you staked and how long you staked it for, you get a number of hex per day. And that is locked in at the time of, and we'll get to this part in another video, because we're going to talk about what's called the T-share, but I'll just drop that little hint there at what we'll talk about and explain, because that's one of the coolest mechanisms in hex, in my opinion. So again, the key aspect to note here is that yield is paid in hex, not in dollar value. So you're not getting extra dollars. I mean, you are, but that can fluctuate. The amount of hex you get does not. That's a static number. The dollar value that's attached to it is dynamic. It can move. So how does hex compare and compete with a bank? Well, hex gives you the ability to lock up your hex, grow your wealth, free of interacting with anything that isn't just code and can be interfered with. Hex allows you to send and receive through a wallet. Hex also appreciates in price on a year-over-year basis, unlike fiat money, which is constantly going down in value at a substantial rate. I think we can all agree that the dollar, whether it's Canadian or US or British or whatever currency you're using as like a fiat currency, it's always losing buying power, versus most cryptocurrencies, or at least for hex, on a year-over-year basis, hex has gone up, and it's gone up a lot in value. So even if you just look at the chart, which we won't get into today, but if you just look on average what it's done, it is doing an up and it's moving to the right, which is it is increasing in value on average in kind of a linear fashion. So it seems like it makes a lot more sense to be using hex as your bank than fiat. I know there's a real world application that's immediate with cash and takes a little bit extra to get cryptocurrency out of the system and actually get fiat to pay with things. But that may change soon, or sooner than we think. I mean, I at least hope so. It could be a little bit longer, but only time will tell. And if there are any updates on things that come out in regards to how to pay with cryptocurrency, or how to use your hex to just buy things in general, I'll do a video on it for sure, because I want to know as well, and I want to share it with you guys. So let's continue though. Hex also has no hours of operation, no wait lines, and the ability to purchase, deposit, sell, withdraw at any point with any amount. There's like zero restrictions. The only thing that you have to pay is the gas fees, which is the fees on Ethereum or whatever chain you are using. And that's just to transact on the network itself. So the only thing you ever have to pay or wait for is that transaction to be approved. Everything else is just, there's no lines, there's no nothing. You just do your thing. It's awesome. So is hex really the only true crypto? Because that's a really, really bold statement. But if we look over everything that I've laid out, And I'm sure this is not a complete argument in the fullest sense, but there's always going to be holes in this. And this argument is supposed to be poked at and try to figure out where it's wrong, and also added to if it needs to be solidified, right? So judging by the factors that I've laid out in this, I do believe it is. It's the closest thing I've ever seen to all of the definitions that are out there, that I've come across that show what a cryptocurrency was intended to be versus what we have, even compared to Bitcoin. The original crypto that made crypto, put crypto on the map. Um, so, and there's much more to Hex that I haven't mentioned in this video, but I'm gonna leave it for a later video just because I wanted to get this foundation of Hex and what it means to cryptocurrency potentially out there first, and to kind of paint the picture, and then add the depth and the mechanics and the complexities that are within it to really solidify in your mind just how cool it is. But we're going to leave it at more of a base value here for now. So there's no other crypto that allows users to create their own wealth at such a rapid rate while having highly lowered risk profile, highly lowered risk profile of anything happening to your coins. I mean, there's always the chance of a hack happening. But you can mitigate that through cold wallets or like a hardware wallet. You can make sure that you have, if you wanted to go all out, of course, this is how extreme you could go. You could have a laptop or a computer that is dedicated specifically to your crypto, that you don't click on anything except for opening your wallet, purchasing the crypto, and in this case for Hex, staking it or selling it. It's only for that. You don't open emails, you don't click on any other websites. It's just for crypto. Or you can just be very careful. You can make sure that the emails that you open are not suspicious or you've never seen before, not downloading random things on the internet. Like, you can do a lot of things in your power to prevent a hack from happening, but it's still a risk we have to be aware of. And that is one of the major risks, if any, that are to be considered when replacing the banking system with Hex. So, but still, it is truly designed to create self-sovereignty and wealth, free of governments or financial institutions. And I know that you can't like escape. If you live in a country, you can't just escape taxes and you can't escape all these things. But I think if people adopt them, it could change a lot of the rules over time, and a lot of the tax laws and things that we have now might generally change. I know I'm being very vague here, but I don't want to put an actual pinpoint on it because I have no idea, to be honest. It's more of a hope than anything else. But I just see it as a way to kind of take control outside of the system and not be bound by the restricted way, the restrictive financial system that we have in front of us, and how much work and knowledge you need to have in order to actually make the similar amount of wealth that you can generate through Hex. Yeah, that's the way I see it. So I mean, it's just a nice step out and freedom from the system that's already there. So let's keep going here. So the reason I include these pictures is because imagine you could wake up every single day, no matter what, and you could go to this place on the left of the screen where this guy's sitting out looking over the clouds, or you could go to the top right of the screen there and just be in a place of complete serenity and no people around, and just experiencing just the natural beauty of Earth, or the bottom. Like, imagine you can go to any of these places anytime you like because you have complete control of your finances, and you don't have to worry about anything to do with money. You are your own bank. You can generate your own wealth. You can send money to yourself in the future. Your family is good. You could bring your family, your friends, you could whatever. This is what I believe is possible when we find that one thing that allows us to become our own bank. So I was wanting to keep these pictures or something along these lines in your mind when you think about crypto and what crypto can do for you, because this is what I believe it can do for all of us. It just give us that freedom to do these things and much, much, much more, whatever your heart and your mind can come up with and desire. So resources for this, I've listed them in the beginning with the definitions, but the main one to go to is hex.com. I could not find the Hex to Learn. It's an app. If you look up Hex to Learn on Google, it is an app you can download on your phone. I actually don't think I have it. I don't know where my phone is. But essentially, it's a little app and it has resources. It has a whole bunch of stuff on Richard Hart, on Pulse Chain, on Pulse X, on Hex. I think they're even adding stuff on Hedron because it's all kind of built together. Howtopulse.com is an amazing site. Tons of resources there, tons of great information. And of course, you can also go to cryptographics.com. You can go there. There's blogs. There are going to be these video uploads soon. There's a resource page for security, for Pulse Chain, for Pulse X, for Hex. There is a creator list. So you can get many different opinions, because you shouldn't just listen to me. Just try and listen to a bunch of different people and find where the holes are and let them get filled in until it all makes sense. But yeah, go to cryptographics.com. I mean, it's my website. Can't help it. I gotta talk about it. So without further ado, though, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. If you did, I would love if you dropped a comment below. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, where I messed up in my argument, how I can improve. And also, if you want to support the channel, of course, you can like, you can subscribe. And you can also go to cryptographics.com. I have these hoodies. The hats are coming soon. I also have some dope shirts. I have Hex Pulse Chain hoodies and shirts, and there's a whole lot more coming. So if you want to support the channel, you can do it that way. And I just want to thank you for coming and checking out the video. I hope to see you in the future videos, because there's going to be lots more. And please let me know as well if there's anything you want to see me cover, any questions you have, you want me to go more in depth with what I've been talking about here. Please let me know, and I'd love to break things down in a way that you can understand better, so that you can make more gains, be free, and actually live the life that you want to live. So guys, again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.